It's a beautiful day.
Good to have you with us this morning here on Daybreak USA. Our next guest is John Truitt. John is leading figure in the field of sleep medicine and specializes in dentistry's impact on the treatment of obstructive sleep apnea and snoring. And John is currently a founding partner and CEO of Simple Sleep Services, a company helping residents throughout the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex assess their individual needs to determine the best treatment for their snoring and OSA. John, welcome to Daybreak USA.
Thank you, Jay. How are you this morning?
Good. You know, at this time of the morning, there's a lot of people out there probably thinking, you know what, I didn't get enough sleep. I could have gotten more sleep. How much sleep do we need? Does the average person need? Maybe that's the thing we ought to start off with, and then we can kind of figure out what we need to get there.
Sure, that's a great question, and it depends actually on how old we are. When we're very small children, babies actually need up to 18 hours of sleep a day, and then as small children it goes down to about 10, and then as adults we generally need about 8 hours of sleep. There are some people that can deal on about an hour less, and some people require slightly more, but 8 hours is generally the sweet spot.
So if you're not getting 8 hours, you've got some issues, right? I normally get about 6 hours a night, and I feel it. You know, I start running down in the afternoon, and it just kind of hits you like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I imagine with your schedule due to your vocation, you probably have a little bit of odd hours. Would that be correct?
It is very correct. Yeah. So I mean, I'm getting up at 3 a.m. You know, when most people are just snoozing right on through that. You know.
Well, you're an ideal candidate for someone who could probably use an afternoon power nap. And there's certain parameters around napping. You don't want to do that too late in the day, and you actually don't want to do it for too long. You want to do it for about 20 minutes. But you fall into the category of people who would probably greatly benefit from that. And
a power nap can actually help you a little bit?
Absolutely. You don't want to do it too long, though. As I say, not too late in the day because it can affect your sleep architecture and ability to go to sleep at night. But as long as you're not doing it after about 6 hours before you want to go to bed, and you don't exceed 20 minutes or so. And the reason that you don't want to go beyond 20 minutes is they've found that you'll actually go into the deeper stages of sleep and you'll wake up feeling groggier than you were before you actually took the nap. So you don't want to do that.
Yeah, I've done that before. So for the normal human being out there listening right now that is just, you know, has the opportunity to get enough sleep, but for some reason they're tossing and turning it all night, or they just can't get to sleep at night, what can you do to get a good night's sleep?
Well, if that's the case, if it's just kind of a normal thing and you're not sleeping well, you probably want to look to see if there's some underlying disorder. One of the more common disorders out there is obstructive sleep apnea. And obstructive sleep apnea occurs when a patient is generally snoring first, and the snoring becomes worse and worse, and the airway will actually block or stop. It's kind of the classic gat thing that you may kind of see with your uncle there on the couch after a big Thanksgiving dinner when your uncle kind of goes to sleep and gasps. Well, that's actually quite a common occurrence, and it's known as obstructive sleep apnea, and it can really affect your sleep. And in severe cases, it can become quite dangerous because the latent sleepiness can affect you throughout the day. It can even affect you while you're driving and things like that.
And, you know, you hear people that they have this. Is this a person who is more overweight has this, or can affect anybody?
Well, it can actually affect anybody. I mean, the stereotypical apnea sufferer is male, over 40, overweight. That is definitely the stereotype, but the stereotype is not a guarantee. In fact, in our clinic, we treat many thin, young female patients. So it can really, it does tend to affect more men. It does tend to affect people that are overweight. However, it can absolutely affect you without those things.
Our guest is John Truitt, talking about how important a good night's sleep is. So that being the case, what are some things that we should not be doing in order to get a good night's sleep?
Well, just general sleep hygiene. There are a number of things that you really want to avoid. You want to avoid eating a large meal too late in the day. That doesn't mean go to bed hungry, and that doesn't mean go to bed on an empty stomach, but you definitely don't want a huge, heavy meal before bed. You also want to avoid caffeine products. Those are not a good idea in the afternoon. Earlier in the day, they're okay. There are also a few things that you do want to do. You want to make sure that your sleeping environment is dark. You want to make sure that it's at least slightly cool, and you want to make sure that it's noise-free. And if it can't be noise-free, earplugs are a great idea.
So make sure it's dark. So if you've got somebody who's working that third shift that ends up having to sleep during the day, what do you do? Just, put up the blinds, put up foil over the windows, I guess?
Well, or even like the airplane blinders, that you get for long. So yeah, those type of things. The eye shades and earplugs, and those things, they really do work, and they make a huge difference in your ability to sleep.
So as we figure out the problems with our sleep, and it's just all a matter of making the time for it to happen.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And really getting out there, if you do feel like that you have some underlying condition, or you notice that you snore, your partner has told you that you snore and you're gasping, you really want to get out there and be evaluated by a test. And traditionally, you would have to do that in an overnight sleep lab. And today, you can actually do it from the convenience of your home. You can do what's called a home sleep test. And then that test is read and interpreted by a board-certified sleep physician, and they can make a determination if you have some underlying condition that you may want to address.
How about working out late at night, exercising, say, 7 or 8 o'clock at night? Is that a good idea?
Exercise in general is a great idea, but you don't want to do it just too close to bed. I would say probably anything less than 2 hours before bed is great. But exercise in general is very good for your sleep.
Where can we get some more information, John, about this topic?
Well, the National Sleep Foundation has some great information on this, or you can go to our website, www.simplesleepservices.com, and we have a blog that has a lot of information there for you. Simplesleepservices.com.
John Truitt, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I feel like I've got all of the ammo I need to get a good night's sleep now, and I'm definitely going to use that power nap.
Excellent. Thank you. Have a great day.
Take care. Daybreak USA will be back in just a moment.